Week 18 is here, so it's time to finalise those FPL teams. It's Christmas Day, but FPL waits for nobody, so it's time to take a break from the family festivities and select our teams for the new game week. So guys, what did Santa bring you this Christmas? Well, for me, he brought me a nice green arrow. Of course, Game Week 17 saw me gain a nice score of 90 points with a lot of top performers, including another phenomenal performance from Mo Salah. Alexander Isak also in the points, and Hall and Castagna, and to be fair, Gabriel, the defence are actually delivering right now, which is absolutely amazing. A big green arrow for me, up to 150k, and I'm really hoping to break into the top 100,000 places by the new year. 2 game weeks to go. Let's see if we can do it. But I'm feeling pretty confident right now. FPL is going well, and I don't know, you know when FPL is just going very well, you feel like you're playing FPL with confidence, you're making decisions with conviction and confidence. Honestly, this is the way I like to play FPL, and hopefully I can continue to do that and continue to get these green arrows. It's going very well right now. I'm feeling positive. And if you're feeling positive, then you probably don't want to get a second yellow card. I know it's not very Christmassy, but you don't want to see one of these. Make sure you like the video or you will be sent off. And guys, do subscribe as well if you are new around here. For Game Week 18, I have one free transfer and a Saka situation to deal with. So how are we going to do that? Well, let's run through my team and see what we can do with it. So in goal, I do have David Raya. Brought him in last game week for the long term. Pretty happy to have that double Arsenal defense, particularly against this fixture against Ipswich Town, which should be a pretty good opportunity for a clean sheet. I also do have Gabriel in my defense, who offers a lot of goal threats, particularly from these set pieces. We've seen him get goals and assists now as well from set pieces, which is really useful. And actually, Gabriel is one of the higher predicted point scorers for this game week, which is really interesting. Indeed, looking through the clean sheet odds, Arsenal are top of this list against Ipswich at home with a 52% chance of a clean sheet, which is very nice indeed. We don't see too many game weeks with teams above 50%, so it's nice to see Arsenal here and Liverpool here as well if you have any Liverpool defensive assets. But going through the rest of my defense, we do have some other opportunities for clean sheets here. But right now, I have Kirkes in my defense at home against Crystal Palace. Of course, Bournemouth coming off the back of a clean sheet against Manchester United, which is quite nice, but they did concede a few chances within that game. But Bournemouth are still one of the stronger defences in the Premier League right now, so I think there is definitely some potential here, and Kirkes, of course, always has a little bit of attacking threat. Lewis Hall is my other defender at home against Aston Villa. Is it the perfect fixture? Probably not, but Newcastle are in great form right now, and we know how well they play at home, so I think that Hall could have goal contributions and could keep clean sheets as well. If we look back at the clean sheet odds, going through some of the defenders I have in my squad right now, I do also have Digne and Castagna on my bench. So looking a little bit lower down the table of clean sheets, Aston Villa only 16% chance of a clean sheet. Fulham 10%. It's not looking too good there, so I don't really want to play those defenders. On the other hand, Bournemouth 29%, that's pretty nice. Newcastle 27%, these are fine. These are absolutely fine percentages for clean sheets. You will occasionally pick up clean sheets, although it has to be said, the Boxing Day fixtures usually bring quite a few goals. So do be aware of that one. Usually we get a Boxing Day goal fest. Don't expect too much from your defenders this week, unless, of course, you have Arsenal and Liverpool defenders here. Moving into my midfield, Mo Salah is hopefully going to deliver some more festive gifts. I really hope so. Against Leicester, it is a no-brainer captain on this guy for this week. What an amazing fixture. Leicester kind of in the worst form of the entire season, conceding so many chances, conceding so many goals, and Salah at the same time is in the form of his life. So it really is the perfect opportunity for Salah to grab a whole bunch of goals. I know Salah often, I don't know, maybe disappoints soon after Christmas, but indeed, I still have the confidence that the form and the fixture are going to play massively into his favour. He is just the best FPL asset in the game right now, and possibly the best FPL asset of all time. Cole Palmer is also in here. He faces Fulham at home, which is a little bit of a tough fixture, but I still fancy Chelsea with all of their attacking ability to get something from this game. I'm not sure if I want to captain Palmer necessarily, but he's still a very useful player to to own. And when you have set pieces, penalties, and you are that creative hub of your team, there's always going to be opportunities and routes towards points. Saka is injured. We know he is going to be out for at least a few weeks, but it's more likely he is going to be out well into the new year. Some people are saying he is going to be out until March, so he is a definite sell at this point, and I will be selling him. I actually already have sold him, and I'll be telling you who I've replaced him with very shortly. And Enzo is the final midfielder in my team right now. He plays against Fulham. I do also have Rodgers on my bench against Newcastle, but I'm going to back Enzo in the home fixture. I think that's the way to go. Big derby match, Boxing Day fixture, lots of opportunities here for our Chelsea attackers. And one more note on Enzo, as I know some people have cooled on him a little bit after his first blank in what seems like forever. Just one blank, guys, remember that. But looking through the numbers from some of the best midfielders right now, looking through their goal involvements, we see Salah and Palmer at the top of this list, as you would probably expect. But actually, Enzo is pretty high here as well. So just for if you're listening as audio, Salah, Palmer, Cliver are the top three. Cliver massively inflated by the 4 penalties he's had. After that, for expected goal involvements, we see Sarr, Szoboszlai, Bowen, Fernandes, Saka, and then Enzo. So Enzo is higher than Gordon, Son, Ødegaard, a lot of these other players, Maddison and Burmo, Ahmad. A lot of these other players that people like the look of right now, yes, Enzo has been overperforming, but actually his attacking numbers are genuinely really good and among the best in the Premier League right now, despite his cheap price tag. So lots of good stuff to be said about Enzo, despite a disappointing game week 17. I think he's going to get back to business very soon. And one final note on Enzo before we move on. I did notice that Enzo took a free kick in a very dangerous area for Chelsea. So he is going to have set piece share with Palmer. We already know he takes corners, but he's going to be taking some of those free kicks in dangerous areas as well, which really boosts him as an FPL asset as you have more routes to points. And that's something that we love in FPL. But anyway, let's move to the forwards. And this is where things look pretty tasty indeed. Alexander Isak is my first forward against an Aston Villa side that does like to concede a few goals. And Isak is going to have a very big opportunity here. Looking through the projected top goal scorers, we have got Isak around the top. He's in 5th with 0.67 projected goals for game week 18, which is very, very good indeed. And if we look through the Opta stats as well, expected goal involvements among forwards over the past 6 game weeks, we do see that Isak is far above everyone else. 5.7 expected goal involvements during this period. Second place is Watkins on 3.9, and third place is Delap and Vardy on 2.8. So he is by far the best forward to have in your team right now because he is getting so many opportunities to score. 20 shots, 16 in the box, 7 big chances, and 14 key passes and 5 big chances created during this period as well. He is a machine. He is, in my opinion, essential, and I would be taking a hit to get him if I didn't have him already because he is so much further ahead than all of these other forwards. Decent fixtures to come as well. Man United, Spurs and Wolves all very likely to concede goals against this in-form Newcastle side. Nicholas Jackson is, of course, here as well. He plays against Fulham, and he's another player who actually has pretty good numbers recently. So he is currently in 5th place for expected goal involvements over the past 6 game weeks, which is even better when you consider that he's only played 5 games during this time. He's ahead of Haaland and Evan Nielsen and Gakpo, Havertz, Cunha, Solanke, lots of other players, way ahead of Chris Wood. A lot of other players that people like as forwards. Jackson is still really high, putting up incredible attacking numbers. His 17 shots in the box is only beaten by Watkins during this time period. Very nice indeed. And João Pedro is my final forward. Confidence waning on this guy, and I think I might sell him soon. Could even sell him this week if I was to take a hit. But he plays against Brentford at home. We know this is a very good fixture for him. And as a result, looking through again the projected top goal scorers, João Pedro makes the top 10 here. He is towards the bottom of this list, you can see. But 0.6 projected goals is still very, very high in the grand scheme of this game week. So, like the look of João Pedro for one more game week. If he disappoints again, then yeah, it might be time to go. But a penalty taker is always useful in your FPL team. Now, let's finally move on to the bench. We have Fabianski, Rodgers, Digne, and Castagna. Obviously, we're going to play Raya ahead of Fabianski, despite the fact that I think Fabianski could keep a clean sheet too. Rodgers away against Newcastle, I'm not backing as much as some of my other players, but I would have no problem playing Rodgers if you needed to. Then I think it's fine to play him, same as what I said last game week. And Digne and Castagna, as we mentioned, the clean sheet odds are just not good enough to justify playing these guys. So, let's make a transfer. I already made it. So, yes, a couple of days ago, I removed Saka and I replaced him with a certain man, and that is Ismaila Sarr. Now, going back to the expected goal involvements, I suppose, for midfielders in particular, you can see in the past 6 game weeks, Salah is on top. We know that. Palmer is second there, who has also been very, very good. Cliver is in third because of all of those penalties that he's had. But in fourth place, Ismaila Sarr is right there. 3.7 expected goal involvements in his past 6 game weeks. And that's despite playing some pretty difficult fixtures. Now, I've been fortunate enough to watch a decent amount of Sarr recently, partially because he's played Arsenal twice in the past week, it seems. But he looks brilliant right now. He is getting so many opportunities to score. 15 shots in the box, 7 big chances, and 2.54 expected goals. Really, really nice. A little bit of creativity there, creating big chances for his teammates. So, if we just take the price tag and put it to the side, we can see that Sarr, outside of Salah and Palmer, is looking the best right now. He's looking the best statistically. He's in good form. When you watch him play football, he passes the eye test, which is very important. And there's one more factor when selecting a player for your FPL team. We have your form, your stats, your price tag. What about the fixtures? And the fixtures look brilliant as well. In fact, going through the next 6 fixtures, according to the Fantasy Football Hub fixture ticker, Crystal Palace have the 3rd best fixtures of any team in the Premier League right now. Bournemouth away is not the greatest jumping on point, don't get me wrong. But this is a player that I really, really like. For game week 19 against Southampton, game week 20 against Chelsea, I would back him in that game as well. Leicester, West Ham and Brentford complete the next 6. And remember, guys, Sarr is a player who has recently scored FPL points against some difficult opponents. You know, he scored against Arsenal, he scored against Aston Villa, and an assist. He hauled against Aston Villa. He got a goal and an assist in that game. Brighton, if you want to call them a tricky fixture, 2 goals and an assist there as well. So he is a player more than capable of doing the business against some of the more difficult opponents. And Bournemouth would be one of the more difficult opponents. And I don't love that I'm playing Sarr against Enzo, but at the end of the day, you've got to go with your gut. You've got to pick the players that you love and the players that you have confidence and faith in, and Sarr is definitely that guy for me right now. It leaves me with 6.2 million in the bank. What am I going to do with that money? That's the question. Now, I could maybe upgrade Digne up to Trent Alexander-Arnold and play him ahead of Kerkez, so I don't have to face Kerkez against Sarr. But taking a -4 for a defender, it just doesn't sit right with me, and I don't think I want to do that. Another move I could potentially make is João Pedro to Gabriel Jesus. I love the look of this Arsenal fixture, and Arsenal, if we go back, have a look at the projected goals scored for Game Week 18. Liverpool obviously on top here, but I just feel that their attack is such a rotation risk right now, and I don't really want to take that risk personally. But Arsenal are in second, 3 projected goals from this game, and I want to be involved in that really. Gabriel Jesus could be a really nice way into that Arsenal attack. But alas, for a -4, to remove João Pedro when he has a good fixture, when he's a penalty taker, again, it doesn't sit right with me. So, what I'm thinking right now, guys, is I just hold 6.2 million in the bank, and we'll go again in Game Week 19 and see what we can do with that money. Because honestly, guys, I don't want to take a -4. I can't see a place in my team where I am confident that I will gain points projected value, I suppose, from any -4. So I'm not going to do it. So there we go. That's my team. Captain's armband is going to be on Salah. Obviously, so obvious. We'll put the vice captain on Palmer just for that safety and guarantee of minutes. But really, there's a few players in this team that could do quite well. I'd be very tempted by Isak if Salah wasn't playing for some reason. But yes, this is what I'm looking at right now for my Game Week 18 team. It looks pretty good. So this is what my team looks like on the Fantasy Football Hub and my team tool. Of course, if you guys want to try this tool out for free, get your free trial, you can use the link in the description and get access to all of their fabulous tools. And actually, going through Fantasy Football Hub's tools was a massive influence on my SAR transfer. So if it does go well, I have to obviously credit these tools a little bit because we already looked at the Opta Stats tool. But also, if we look at the points projections here, go to midfielders, and we just bring the price down a little bit to exclude Salah and Palmer, who we all have pretty much, don't we, in our FPL teams. Kind of look at some of the cheap options. You can see the players like Son and Bruno, because of their history, are going to be very high up on this list. But Sar is coming in third. And to get these kind of projected points, these kind of numbers from a player who is so much cheaper than these other guys, it seems like a no-brainer bargain to just take the money out of Saka, and instead of going for expensive Son and Bruno for just that tiny bit of projected points, you can go a lot cheaper and get some really nice potential hauls, really, from Sar. It does reckon that Bournemouth is going to be the worst fixture in this run-in with 4.7 projected points here. But after that, we go really high. 5.9 against Southampton. Even against Chelsea, it's 5.1, which is certainly good enough. And I just think this is a really nice transfer indeed. So I like this. This is what my team will look like. I think my defensive rotation still works pretty well. If I was to go for Trent, it would also probably lock me out from going for Daniel Munoz, who is another player I would really like to get into my FPL team. So it's maybe a risk to go against Trent. I'm kind of on the fence with this one, but it's just a -4. I have no doubt that long term, Trent would make up for the -4. But if I just wait one more week and go for Daniel Munoz instead against Southampton in Game Week 19 for my free transfer, then that could work out really, really nicely. That really could work in my favor. And I could even actually, if I show you this, guys, if we go to Game Week 19, if João Pedro seems like a transfer out, I could just bench him. I'd have Enzo against Ipswich, Rodgers against Brighton. That's not too bad. We can put Castagna on here as well, and we could look to bring in for Digne. If we remove Digne, Daniel Munoz like this, make transfer, add him to the field like that. And the team looks really, really strong for Game Week 19 if I was to do something a little like that. So definitely some potential for me to do something like that. And after that, we can reassess on João Pedro, see what forwards are looking good. Is there any slightly more expensive forwards we could go for? Because there is just so much money in the bank for me. Yeah, I feel like I've got a Christmas stocking full of FPL money that I can spend on whatever I want. But I probably won't be spending it in Game Week 18, I'll put it that way. But there we go, guys. If you do want to check out this tool, use the link in the description. But aside from that, let me know what you think of my team. If you've got any final FPL questions, let me know in the comment section. I know it's Christmas, but I will be making an effort to reply to you guys. And aside from that, I suppose a very Merry Christmas to you if you are celebrating today. Thank you for joining me on this special day. And yeah, have fun, enjoy, looking forward to the football, and I'll see you tomorrow for a deadline stream, and I'll see you later, mates. Bye-bye.